Hello viewer, welcome for Business Studies Form 1. You can give us your feedback through our SMS number 40007 or through our Facebook page Erimu TV or our Twitter handle Erimu_KE. Today we are going to look at human wants and the characteristics of human wants. But before that, our lesson preview, we are going to start with our last lesson. Remember, I left you with some assignment to look at. Then from there, we are going to look at how you are supposed to define human wants. And we will also look at the characteristics of human wants. I left you with a question whereby you are supposed to outline the benefits that are accrued by a firm that uses modern technology. That is, a firm that is producing goods using an updated technology, the latest type of technology. So such benefits may include, for instance, find that goods produced are of high quality. Goods produced are of high quality, and that one implies that people are going to demand more, because if goods produced are of high quality, the demand of the goods will go up, and therefore the rate of sales will definitely increase. The other benefit would be reduces the cost of production. Reduces cost of production. Cost of production, I told you last time that is the cost that is accrued when a product is being produced. So if the technology used is modern, you find that the cost of making that product will decrease or will reduce. The other benefit would be increased production. And this one means the number of goods produced will go up. Therefore, the company will have more goods to supply. In other words, the company will make more profit because they are able to produce more goods. The other question, you are supposed to explain the differences between generic and enterprise competition. And this is what you would be expected to say. Generic competition, it refers to competition where products are used for the same purpose, though they are different. Products are used for the same purpose, but they are totally different. And a very good example would be discos and cinemas. Both are forms of entertainment, but they compete with each other. They are different, but they are used for entertainment. Enterprise competition is found where firms' products are similar, or firms produce similar goods to those of other firms. For instance, a local shoe manufacturing company competing with imported shoes. You see, both of them are shoes, but they are produced by different firms. Now let's look at today's lesson. Our objectives include, by the end of this lesson, you are supposed as a learner to be able to define the term human wants. You should also be able to state and explain all the characteristics of human wants, and we are going to look at how one is supposed to satisfy human wants. So we are going to start with the satisfaction of human wants. And when we talk of satisfaction of human wants, this one involves fulfilling one's human desires. Each and every individual has his or her own desires, and you need to satisfy those desires. Those desires are the ones that we refer as human wants. And human wants are those desires that human beings always strive to satisfy. And for you to satisfy your desires, you either use goods to satisfy them or services. For example, maybe you want to braid your hair. If you want to braid your hair, you don't go and buy another head. No, you just go to the salon and you get your hair done. That is a service. So you have used that service. Someone will do your hair. So you make use of that service. You use that service. You buy that service to satisfy your need. Let's say, for instance, you are in need of a new cloth or a new shoe. So what do? You just go to the shop and buy a shoe or a dress. That way, you will have satisfied your need for a new dress or a shoe. So we use goods and services to be able to satisfy our desires, what we refer to as human wants. It is important to note that satisfaction of human wants is that process. It is that process of acquiring and using goods and services, because once again, I have said that for you to be able to address your needs, for you to be able to satisfy your desires, you would have to make use of the goods and services. And that is why I want us now to look at the characteristics of human wants. Now that you know what are human wants, those desires that you have, what are the characteristics associated with them? And one of the characteristics of a human want is that they are insatiable. That means you will never fully satisfy them, because they will never come to an end. For example, let's say you are hungry. Now, for you to satisfy, so what you need, when you are hungry, what you need is food. What you need is food. So you will go ahead and purchase something to eat. Once you do that, that does not mean that you never get hungry again. So tomorrow, you will need to do the same. The day after tomorrow, you will keep on doing that. So you will never fully satisfy your hunger. So you will keep on satisfying it every now and then. So human wants are insatiable, and this one means they will never be fully satisfied because they are endless. The other way you can try to explain the fact that human wants are insatiable is that an individual usually has so many wants. Maybe you need food, you need shelter, you need clothes to put on. There are so many of them, and you'll never satisfy them. And now, let's also look at another characteristic of a human wants. They vary in intensity and urgency. They vary in intensity and urgency. And what this one means is that the amount of a good or service required to satisfy the wants, they vary. They are not the same. They vary from one person to another. So, for instance, let's use our example of our basic want, which is food. You cannot do without it. You find that different people consume different amounts of food. So, it is not uniform that everybody does not take the same amount of food. Even some other services, you find that some people will always demand more than the others. Some people will always demand more than others. And that is why we are saying that human wants vary in intensity and urgency. The other characteristic is that human wants are competitive. They are very competitive. I've just told you that one has so many wants that are competing to be satisfied first by just one individual. Let's say, for example, you viewer, you need to buy food, you need to buy even a car, you need to buy clothes, you need to buy a house, you need a better shelter. So all those wants want to be satisfied by you. So you find that these wants are competing. So wants compete for attention such that each of them yearns to be satisfied first. So when you are satisfying them, you have to forego some others, and we are going to look at that later on in our topic. But note that human wants are competitive, and this is whereby one has so many wants, and each and every want wants to be satisfied as the first one. You should know that one has to prioritize the wants in the order they are to be, you have to prioritize some. For instance, you cannot buy a car when you don't have food. So you have to give some the first priority depending on how important they are. And this is because human wants are unlimited, while the resources to satisfy them are limited in supply. When we say that human wants are unlimited, you find that you can satisfy them. They are always available. You can always get them. And the wants will always be there. But when we talk of resources, this is in terms of finance. You will always not have enough. So you find that the resources that you have may not be enough to satisfy all your wants or all your needs. So you have to forego some others and you prioritize some. So see, because the resources are scarce, or they may not be enough at the moment to satisfy some wants, you have to decide which one to satisfy first. You have to decide on the ones that you need to satisfy first. And then let's continue with the characteristics of human wants. And the other one is that they are recurrent. When we say that something is recurrent, what we mean is that it keeps on repeating itself every now and then. And that is the case with the wants that we have. If you take food today, that does not mean that tomorrow you will not get hungry again. So you will have to satisfy that again and again and again. So our wants will always demand to be satisfied over and over again. So satisfaction of a want does not last forever. It does not last forever. The other characteristic is that human wants are universal. Some of them, not all of them. Some wants are universal. When we say that they are universal, you will find that the same wants, this means that the wants that we have here right now in our country, Kenya, the wants that people usually have, the desires that they have. If you go to America, you find that they are the same wants that people have there, or you go to any other country. So, most human wants are common to all human beings, though they vary in quantities, like the way I just told you earlier on, that people may not consume the same amount of food. For a good example, to illustrate that some wants are universal, you find that all human beings require shelter. They require shelter. There is nowhere you will go in the world where you find human beings don't need shelter. They will always want shelter. They will always want food. And they will always want clothing. One cannot stay naked. So these are some of the universal wants that we have. And when we say universal, I'm saying you'll find them in different areas, though they may vary in quantities. Our next characteristic of human wants is that they are habitual. Habitual. The word habitual comes from the habit. And this is something that you are used to doing. If you keep on doing something again and again and again, you form a habit of doing it. And therefore, when we say that human wants are habitual, you find that once an individual has developed a taste of a given commodity, he or she tends to use it over and over again, thereby becoming a habitual user. For instance, you may develop a habit of taking juice. And once you develop that habit, you find that there will not be even a single day that will go by without you taking some juice. So you form that habit of taking juice on a daily basis. So we say that human wants are habitual. That is, once you get used to taking something, to taking a good, or to satisfying a want in a given way, We will always do that again and again and again. The other characteristic of human wants is that they require resources. And this one I want to be very, very exact. That is in terms of finance. You cannot satisfy a need without financial resources, depending on the type of need. Some you need physical resources. Others you will also need resources in terms of labor or human resources for you to be able to satisfy that need. For instance, if you want to buy a new dress, if you want to get a new dress, you have that need of getting a dress. So for you to satisfy that need of a new dress, you cannot go to the boutiques and just pick the dress just like that. So you have to pay for that. So what do you need? You need money. And we can say you satisfy your want for a dress using financial resource. So note that all human wants require resources for them to be satisfied. Let's say, for example, you want to go to school. You need education. Maybe you want to go and do a degree. The resources that you may want will include teachers, pens, desks, books. All those are resources. You see, teachers, they are going to give you the service of teaching you. You may need, pens are also resources, and for you to get that pen, you need money. That is financial resource. Desks, books, all that. You need all those resources for you to be able to satisfy your need for education. And we continue with the characteristics of human wants, and the other one is that they are complementary. And this one means when you satisfy one want, that satisfaction creates another need. So a second want, that is being brought about by the first satisfaction, we call it derived. That is, it is derived from the first. For instance, let's say you need a car. And then you go ahead and you buy a car. After you buy that car will make you demand something else. And that something else is fuel. That car cannot satisfy you without using fuel. So you find that your demand for fuel is derived from you are satisfying a need for a car. And that is why we are saying that human wants, they are complementary. That is the end of our lesson for today. And I hope that you have understood. So before we end the lesson, I'm going to leave you with an assignment. I want you to list and you explain the features of human wants. List and explain the features of human wants. I'll see you next lesson, and you are going to look at that assignment, so make sure that you answer that. But I don't want to leave you without our business quote of the day. And our business quote of the day for today says that success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it. What does this mean? Now, everyone yearns to succeed. Everybody would like to succeed. What you are supposed to know is that you cannot just sit idle, doing nothing, and expect to succeed. So you must make sure that you are doing something about your wanting to succeed. So success will only come to those who are busy looking for it. You cannot pass in your exams if you are not studying smart. Same case in our businesses. If you are not working hard, trying to make things work out, you may never succeed. Thank you.